Hello, today we're going to see how to compute the angle between two vectors thanks to the scalar product. So, first of all, you need to know two formulae. The first is to compute the scalar product thanks to the magnitude of the vectors and the cosine of the angle between them. You have u scalar v equals the magnitude of u multiplied by the magnitude of v multiplied by cosine of the oriented angle uv. The second is to compute it thanks to the coordinates of the vectors. So if you have two vectors u x y and v x prime y prime, the scalar product of u and v equals x prime plus y prime. So we are going to see an example of this method. So you have two vectors u 0 negative 4 and v negative 2 square root of 3. And what you want is to compute the value of u of the oriented angle uv. So first of all, you know that this is equal to this because it's the same thing. It's the scalar product of u and v. So you have x prime plus y prime equals the magnitude of u multiplied by the magnitude of v multiplied by cosine of uv. Then you replace the values in the equation. So x, what is x? Here it's 0. So you have 0 multiplied by x prime, it's negative 2, plus y, it's negative 4, multiplied by 2 square root of 3 equals the magnitude of u. What is the magnitude of u? You can compute it thanks to the coordinates of the vectors and thanks to the Pythagorean theorem. So if you have u x y, the magnitude of u is the square root of x squared plus y squared. So you apply this formula. The magnitude of u will be the square root of 0 squared plus negative 4 squared multiplied by the magnitude of v. You do the same. So it's the square root of negative 2 squared plus 2 square root of 3 squared multiplied by cos uv. And then you do the math. 0 multiplied by negative 2 is 0. Negative 4 multiplied by 2 square root of 3 is negative 8 square root of 3. And this is equal to the square root of 0 plus negative 4 squared. Negative 4 squared is 16. So the square root of 16 is 4. Multiplied by the square root of negative 2 squared. Negative 2 squared, this is 4. Plus 2 square root of 3 squared. This is 2 squared multiplied by 3, so this is 12. 4 plus 12 is 16, and the square root of 16 is 4. Multiplied by cos uv. 4 multiplied by 4 is 16, and you can divide on the two sides by 16, so you have negative square root of 3 over 2 equals cosine of uv. Now that you know the cosine of uv, you use a trigonometric circle in order to to see what the angle is. So, normally you know that that if the cosine of uv is the square root of 3/2, the angle will be here pi/6. So, if this is negative square root of 3/2, you just look at on the other side of the circle, and you have two values possible of the angle. The first is 5 pi/6, and the second is negative 5 pi/6. So you have two possibilities for the value of uv. So we need to know which one is the good. So you take the values of the vectors, which were u 0, negative 4, and v negative 2, 2 square root of 3, and you draw them on a sketch. So u 0, negative 4 will be something like this to the bottom, and v will be something like this, because his abscissa is negative and its ordinate is positive. And since you have u here and v here, the oriented angle between them will be negative 5 pi/6. So the answer of the question is negative 5 pi/6 mod 2 pi.